Okay, so
Okay, yes.
just only big words from now on.
That's right. No words like dank. Dank is not allowed in this meeting.
I know big words. I know really good words.
Exemplary.
Subterranean.
Well, let us first discuss casually where we were about 2 months ago and where we are now. Actually, let's discuss casually where we were 4 months ago and discuss where we are now. So 4 months ago, I was a little bit burnt out, mainly because I couldn't figure out recruitment, and also the Corp had no particular direction other than to keep roaming. So, I took a 6-week break and came back, and obviously found some Pocos were under attack by the Japanese, and that fired me up to get back on and do some shit, and not take Eve seriously for a couple of weeks. And then that eventually accumulated into this triangle octopus plan, which most of you are familiar with now. And also has encouraged me to not be afraid of going ahead and recruiting myself, because I am actually the best recruiter. But we still need to grow. Basically, what I want to be able to do is run a fleet of 7 consistently. So let's consider that you need a corp of about 4 times your fleet size to consistently get those numbers, and they have to be relatively active pilots. So we need about 28 somewhat active people, you know, people that come in once a week or two and who will participate. So right now we have about 16, 17 active people when you count in Dahak, who's about to join. That means hopefully, let's see, calculator, it was whatever 28 is, so we need about 10 more people, really, 11. And we've got 3 noobs we're training, and one of them isn't, well, 2 of them aren't here, but Morden, Cornholio, and now Thick. And that is about all I can really handle, unless they're somewhat experienced. But that is about all I can handle unless somebody really helps me out with training. But when I say training, I need to know how to descan. They need to know the nature of low-sec and faction warfare space, like the difference between a novice, a medium, a large, and who goes in there, what can go in there. And they need to know some basic, at least T1 frigate fits, maybe destroyer fit. And they need to know the difference between what brawl means, what kite means, and what scram kite means. And they need to know that long point does not shut down your MWD and what range it works at. And they need to know that a scram does shut down, you know, these kinds of things. And the way we've been doing it is giving them a descan lesson first and foremost, and then explaining the nature of faction warfare sites, and then going at it with them in a couple of T1 frigates and kind of demonstrating, okay, well, here's a brawl ship, here's an incursus, you have a rifter, your ship is actually more of a scram kite, but let's play around with it and see. And now notice, if you're outside this, say, 5 clicks, I can't hit you at all, you know, this kind of thing, right? And then come in and like a Slicer or a Tristan and say, oh, look, you can't catch me at all, I can sit out here all day, but if you do catch me, I'm in trouble. You know, this is the basic training that we do. And Morden's already gone through it and has taken to it quite well. If anybody needs a refresher, let me know. And so we'll see if you know, there's a good chance. The thing about training noobs, and what I consider as a noob, is somebody who's been in the game for just a few months and hasn't done any PvP at all, or maybe they've gone away and they've come back after several years and essentially been doing it under a few months and no PvP at all. I would say, you know, there's at least a 50% chance they're not going to be a fit. And that is why we have this vetting process where we throw them in a fleet or throw them in a room with somebody and see how they interact. Because it could be they may be trainable, they may not be trainable, but if they have a piss poor attitude when things go badly, they're not for us. So that's basically it. Any comments or questions? Sometimes I can go on about that. Basically, what I'm going to need, like, if we really want to open up the recruitment, I'm going to need people who are willing to provide that kind of training. You know, if I'm going to recruit more noobs. Otherwise, you know, I myself am going to have to hold off on those for a little while. But we need to grow, so we need to get about 10 more people. Some of them can be noobs. I'm kind of done for noobs, but if we get any more, is anyone here interested in training someone if I pass them over to you?
So I'd be happy to tell them what little I know, which will probably get them halfway.
Okay.
I'm down to be a guru.
That was... Who was that?
Zeke's here.
That was Zeke. Okay, great. So Zeke and Morgan can at least teach D-Scan and get him oriented for low-sec. And, cool. I know Wiggles is capable. He's not back yet, but he's always willing to do that kind of thing. And I know Nacho is also capable of taking people on little micro rooms. I've seen that.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't really mind teaching. I mean, when the time's available, it's usually just anytime a new player, I do that anyway, just try to teach them things. When you see them lacking information about the game or something like that, try to save them some time.
Right, and also when I get them on fleet, I'm going to be a little more, in fact, we can go over this now, like, in fleets, the biggest challenge is actually clear communications, and you kind of have to balance that with making it fun. So I generally don't mind if people talk while we're in transit, but if the scout sees something, this is when we need to kind of be quiet on comms and let the scout and the FC, or the scouts and the FC, communicate. Now, if you're lost, the best thing to do would be to just put in fleet location, ? And somebody will link it. Also, if you die or if you're aggressed, it's easy to get excited and say, Corn is going down, or, or Allure is going down, I'm dying. You don't have to do all that. Just say, Max is down, or Max is out, or Max is away, I'm free, I'm clear. Clear, nothing too excitable. If you get pointed by something, that's worth speaking up. Like if an interceptor or something's got me pointed, and then you try to explain what it is you see as clearly as you can. But before we do fleets, and next time I throw in some noobs like we did on Sunday, I'll try to go over that before every fleet so that they're not yelling on comms when something gets them excited. But all things considered, I think I did pretty well on that fleet Sunday. But so there's that. The other thing is just recon and evadi. So I'm moving. Egshan Lopan can carry 349k M3 in his jump freighter. So if you want to courier contract your stuff to Egshan Lopan, feel free to do that. I'll be moving all this week, and then after that, I'm not going to be up for moving as much. So you may or may not get a speedy courier contract out of me after, say, next Monday or Tuesday. But all this week I'm committed to moving stuff stat for you if you need it. Your ships, if they're unpackaged, they're going to be a lot harder to move. If you repackage them, yes, you're going to lose your rigs, but they'll be much more compact. I can move fit ships, but they're going to be bigger for me to move. So if you have a small order, not a big deal, even if it's just if it's all fit up, and if it's 100k M3 or 300k M3, I'll be happy to move that chunk for you.
But we can also start taking stuff over. I mean, if I got free time, so
yeah, you could manually.
I can just fly shit there.
Yeah, you can. If you're gonna move a cruiser in, just be aware that it's always possible there's a gate camp, say, because you're generally, when you're going safest down there, you've got to go through Haggler, which used to be gate camped a lot. It's sort of our equivalent to Austin Gale over here. So lately it has been uninhabited, but when somebody is inhabiting Haggler, sometimes they gate camp the hell out of it. We have Haggler, and then we have a high-sec system between Haggler and Evati. So if you're pirate, don't linger on the gates. Usually even a pirate can get through high-sec in a cruiser, as long as you don't linger on a gate. But high-sec gate camps are a thing, so that's something to be aware of. So feel free to ask a scout if anybody's available in Evati. If not, just kind of go through in a shuttle first and check it out. When we get down here, I want to take note of any Rotarus, especially like industrial citadels. I want to be aware of them, but especially Athenors, because I'm curious if there's any moon mining going on in this pocket within a jump radius. I know there is some moon mining activity in the level 5 missioning system called, what's it called? Let me pull up the map right now. Our rivals are going to be called Immediate Destruction. They're the only other big players in this area, and they... oh, do this way. But I'm really curious to see if there's any refineries, and also if there's any good moon goo here. We may or may not mine it ourselves, but there are people who will mine it, and will be happy to enjoy our protection and generate some content that way. In Helgatild, about 3 jumps from us, I know that there's a refinery over there, and Immediate Destruction is doing level 5 missions over there, and they're bigger than us. I don't know if they're better than us yet. But anyway, has anybody scanned probes, scanned moons before? The way it works is you get Discovery Survey scanners, and we're gonna have like probably a shared spreadsheet. We did the same thing up in Agos when we first got up there, and we don't have to scan them all right away, but I would like to know what the moon goo content is. Xenotime is the best, but we may put up a refinery if not for moon mining. Booster production is a good thing, and boosters sell pretty well in low sec. Any volunteers to just check out and see what citadels or Athenors are in the Evati pocket, just to look around on DScan and mark them with bookmarks?
ISIS volunteers.
Excellent. So yeah, just when you have a chance, just check out DScan. I'm mainly looking for citadels, and if you see a citadel on DScan, try to figure out where it is in space, and you'll see it in blue brackets. You'll be able to warp to it. And then when you see it, just bookmark it, put it under places of note, and we will check out who's got it.
Roger, mainly Athenors, correct?
Yeah, I would like to see all of them, even if it is just a citadel, just like our booty hole. But I would like to be aware of all citadels within 1 jump of Evati.
Hey.
I'll help you out with that, ISIS.
Okay.
And or Cornholio.
Okay, great. How to recruit? So recruiting is difficult. Right now I would prefer people with about 5 million skill points who are Omega, because they will train faster into our doctrine stuff. There's a number. The corp recruitment ad is pretty easy to get to. You just go to your corp thing on the Neocom, and under recruitment, under the recruitment tab, is the corporation ad. And if you're not sure what we're looking for, this pretty much tells you, and this tells you what we're doing. So that corp recruitment ad can be dragged to any chat. It can, and also if you're fighting someone, that's often the best way to recruit. And if they're, say you kill somebody who's, maybe they weren't that good, or maybe they were new, or maybe they were good, and they just put up a, they put up a good fight and they were cool about it in local, that's the kind of people we want. So please keep that in mind, because we've got to get, the reason I want to get consistently 7 fleets, and the reason why we need that recruitment, basically it comes down to fleet doctrine. You can do a lot with 2 Logi ships, whether it be 2 Deacons, 2 Exequerors, eventually 2 Aneroses or Basilisks. You can do a whole lot with those. So, but each Logi ship generally has to have a buddy, because it's going to get primaried, right? So you need a backup, and you need somebody supporting that other Logi ship. Otherwise, your so-called phalanx is a good tackler, either a designated tackler. So a fleet of 7 is optimal, especially if that tackler is an interceptor. Seems like our fleets always do a whole lot better when we have an interceptor available with us. So that's why. And to get that, 25% of a group of 28 will probably get us that consistently. And then eventually up to a dozen or 15 fleets. And then with the fleet of 15 in low-sec, you can just get so many kills, really. And also cruisers will be a little bit easier for us to roam with down here in Metropolis, because we won't have to go as far for fights. If we lose a ship, we won't have to go as far to reship and come back. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, what else do I have to cover? That's mostly it. We're just going to get moved. We're going to train the noobs we got. If we get some more noobs, we want them to be Omega. If they don't have 5 million skill points, I'll need help training them. If anybody has any ideas for fleets they want to do, feel free to let me know. If anybody has any activity at all they want to do, feel free. Like if you want to do some gas mining, do a gas mining op, make it happen. If you want somebody to join you, put something in Eve Booty Intel pings. If you want to do, if you want to go belt ratting with a friend, put it up there. Grab somebody and have fun with it. Also, I've went ahead and given an award to everybody who helped on the final destruction of the Pocos up here. I'm debating whether to give it on... I can't remember or tell who all helped reinforce them, to be honest. But there is a word called Burn the Poco House Down. And that was given to... Well, will be given to Dahak when he gets in. Cornholio, Wiggles, Illure, and Bolton were all available to do the final takedown on the Pocos we took down. So you have an award. Feel free to go and display it under your character sheet. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. Questions, interactions, please. Feedback.
Well, I got a couple. I've been running back and forth the body for the last week. It's really been quite clear from Bay into Avadi, that Hagalar system. I've got some bookmarks. I've been jumping safe. Haven't had any trouble between there. I did get smart bombs going from a ghost Cheetah, and I did get gate going from Cheetah to Avadi. That route.
That would be Ranker, right?
Yeah, that route sucked. The other one. My opinion. No.
Oh yeah, I'm probably not going to do any roams myself until maybe this coming weekend. We'll look at it. But if anybody else wants to, you know, grab someone or grab some dudes and go for a run, feel free.
Yeah, Deuce did a good job leading that roam today. Not on. Kudos to him. There wasn't a lot of activity. That was the night server. Body trouble.
Yeah.
We had a good time on mission.
Deuce is pretty good.
Yeah.
He is how should I say? You know, every FC has a different style.
Right.
And mine's been increasingly fast, but you know, I don't tend to. I have actually gotten to a point where I'm a little bit more assertive, I guess you could say, but I'm not to the point where I just flat out yell. You'll have FCs that will yell, and I'm okay with that, you know. It's like, it makes it exciting, you know.
Yeah, I was saying his style was good. It worked for me. That's me personally. I just thought it was fun. It was, you know, I mean,
right.
You know, that we got enough room for a lot of people to be doing that. So
absolutely,
like I was just giving kudos to him. I enjoyed it that night. I've done a lot of them with you. Deuce stepped up that night and did that. But I know he's not on right now. But I was just giving him kudos. Good job. I'm a new guy and I don't know a lot, so you know, and I learned stuff with him as well.
Yeah,
that's great for me. Seeing different styles for new bros.
I mean, I've only and the thing is about commanding an op or a fleet, or even just an op. It can be really intimidating because you feel like everybody's watching you for direction and judging whether you're doing a good job or not. But it takes balls to even step up and say, hey, let's do this. A lot of anxiety involved, but once you get that kill, you know, especially once everybody gets on that kill, it's so worth it. When you're cleaning up the loot and the battle is done and you could fight some local, and it's like tension, and then just release, you know. And sometimes it can be really tense all the way up into that last point where you're docked up, and sometimes you walk away from the computer still freaking tense, but then you think back on that and, oh man, that was such an awesome roam. Like, I'll admit the one on Sunday, because I knew comms was going to be messy, but I was pretty tense the whole time. However, you know, every time we killed something, it's like, oh shit, hell yeah. And then when I get back, you know, after I get up after the roam and walk around, I've got some really good memories there. So, and it's like, man, it makes you want to get back into the game and really do some more stuff. So if anybody wants to schedule any kind of activity, put a court mail out and check your fucking court mails, please. I know a lot of people don't have a chance to check them, and you know, they go by, and a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to come to an op or a fleet or a roam, it's just they weren't aware that it was happening. And I'm not trying to tether you or anything, but it is sometimes really helpful to have the Eve app on your phone and Discord on your phone. I've turned the sound off on my Discord on my phone, so it's not going whoop all the time, but you know, I still get the little icon up there to see if somebody's talking. And especially if you're taking a little break from Eve and playing some other games, or you know, sometimes it's good to take a little break, but you see the activity on your phone, it's like, oh good, my friends are still there, so I'll just get on and see what's going on.
What's a court mail?
Anyway, I think that's it for the meeting. Is anyone, let's see who's up still in Agos. There's some people here. I don't have a lot of energy because I'm kind of sick today, but I'm willing to get a fleet up, and all I've got is an incursus. I've moved everything. So if y'all want to do a T1 frig fleet, kitchen sink, I'm all for it. I don't know how long I can do it, but if not, that's cool. Main objective was to get the meeting.
Out of a goes?
Yeah,